wall counter. Who want to be a wall counter?
All right.
Okay, now I'm the first speaker is Mark Thompson.
There's an intro right below there, right below under the podium. Look, come, June. This way. Look down. There you go. Underneath there. Underneath. There. Just read that.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. And our first speaker today is Mark Thompson, who will be speaking out of the advanced manual and communicating on TV. Wow, interesting. And project 3, where you are the host. Mark's speech today will involve audience participation. Its goal is to create more mindfulness regarding how we treat each other. The title of Mark's speech is A Deeper Thought. Let's welcome Mark.
7 to 9 minutes.
Oh, what is the minutes?
Hey, Mark's speech is going to be between 7 to 9 minutes. At 7 minutes, I'll turn on the green light. At 8 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow, and at 9 minutes, the red light.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. One more time. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here today. It is a pleasure to be here today on our first inaugural Tuesdays with Toastmasters. So I'm excited to be here today. This is the first time and excited to be here today. And what comes to mind are Girl Scouts. Now, how many of you, when you think of Girl Scouts, what do you think about?
Cookies.
We have cookies for our guests, just to let you know. So cookies in honor of Girl Scouts. When I was reading this article the other day, and it made me have a deeper thought about this topic. And the article talked about little girls during the holidays, and you could apply this to young boys as well, that parents should not force relatives to hug if the young child doesn't want to hug. And I thought about it. Wow, that is a very interesting. And their thought is, as far as the Girl Scouts are concerned, is that, you know, many times you've heard this, well, go hug your auntie because she got you a gift. Go hug your uncle because he got you a nice gift. Well, the thought is down the road, it's saying you have to do, when someone gives you something, you have to do this. And it doesn't give that young girl or young boy an option. And I had to think about that. I thought, man, I wanted to have, you know, a deeper thought about that. When I was a young kid, I had this auntie, and I called her Jin Jin. Her name was Virginia. And really nice lady. You know, I just want to say, very nice lady. Bless her heart. Every time I went up to San Francisco, Jin Jin was there with my grandmother, and we always had a great time. But every time I, you know, came into her company, I had to hug Jin Jin. Well, I even hate to say this, but you know, Jin Jin didn't quite smell too fresh, and I hate to say that. You know, she had some moles, and as a fire girl, I was a little awkward, you know, and I thought about, you know, the Girl Scouts, and do I have to hug? Is it? I thought about that. I said, man, I have to keep a deeper thought about this. Flash forward about 45 years later, I'm at my mother-in-law's house, and my brother-in-law is there as well, and he has a young lady that he's with, and we're introducing each other, and I went over to her and gave her a hug as, you know, as part of a member of the family. They weren't married or anything, he was introducing us to his young girl, his girlfriend. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of a hugger. And I went over to her and hugged her, and how are you doing? You know, you're part of the family, all these things. And later that night, I got home and talked to my wife, and we talked about that. And my wife said to me, you know, maybe you shouldn't have hugged her. Maybe it was not appropriate for her. She was going to shake your hand, but you decided to hug her. Maybe she didn't want to hug. So I'm thinking, oh, was I rude? I didn't know. So my goal today is to get a better understanding. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to put someone in a position where they're uncomfortable. You you know, my wife during this conversation said to me, Mark, remember my friend, I can't think of her name, Tanya, one of her friends would come over to the house time to time. And when she would come, I'd kind of give her a polite hug. You're part of the family. I mean, she said, you should not hug her. So my question to you today, fellow Toastmasters, I want to get some insight. I want to be mindful of what I do and not to offend and not to push anything on anyone, especially women, especially. I don't want to do that. So my question to you is, what is the right thing to do? Is it appropriate at certain times to hug and not to hug? What do we do? So I want to kind of open this up to people, and we have to keep the comments kind of short. But give me your thought. What's right? What's wrong? It's a touchy thing, but it's a small thing, but it can be a big thing. But I want to make sure that I'm approaching it from a perspective. Yes, sir.
This is sort of an Emily Post rule, and I don't know whether people observe it as much anymore. But generally speaking, when you meet a woman who's older, you don't offer your hand. You wait and see if she wants to. She has the option of whether to shake hands with you or not. So that's a way to do it. Just see how they proceed.
All right. Awesome. Let's give her a round of applause for that. Yeah, I'm looking for women's opinions, obviously, but hey, men, you have an opinion. I appreciate that as well. So I want perspective. I want to learn. Anybody else? Come on. Nick.
So I'm a huggy person too. I come from a huggy family. Usually, especially on the first meeting, I kind of try to read their body language a little bit better. And if whatever they show interest in, I guess, shaking their hand. But yeah, if they don't shake the hand, I typically go in for the hug too. So I'm guilty as well for that. So that's kind of my rules.
Thank you.
Of engagement.
All right. and again, it's that, you mentioned, it's that awkward kind of moment where do you shake, do you hug, you know, and that never, that gray area. You're going to say something.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times when you have that gray areas, you just say, hey, shake, hug, and then that solves the problem.
I like it. So just ask the question. Okay. Anybody else? I would like to get an opinion. You have a nice smile. Come on.
Okay.
You have an opinion. I know you do.
So
Okay.
I actually have the same kind of situation. I have a younger nephew, so it's kind of the roles reversed a little bit. And their parents are always like, "Oh, go give your aunt a hug," and then I've heard that before, where maybe it could be a little bit of an awkward situation. And so I'm like, only if you want to. And then I give them that option if they want to come hug me or not. And it makes me a little sad when they don't, but that's fine. I want them to feel comfortable with me. And a lot of times they do. So it's kind of up to them, and I kind of interject that option for them.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And again, I just wanted to be appropriate. I'm going to point out, Tracy, I go to her house many times, to her husband's house for Super Bowl parties. A lot of people there. And typically we kind of hug and, how you doing? We saw you last year. And it seems fun. But again, it goes back to, is it appropriate? Am I pushing my heart? I don't know. So I'm going to go around here. And Steve, you have a thought? Okay.
Man hug.
Yeah, okay. No, okay, thank you, Steve, for that. Give him a round of applause. Now, typically, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve. I might do that to a man. I might grab, hey, how you doing? Boom. Just have a little shoulder bump and come back. Okay, anybody else? Carl, you have a thought?
Yeah. So here's one that throw in the hopper. I was in a bad car accident. Ended up in chronic pain. You hear about chronic pain going on for 6 months, a year, 2 years. It wears people down. Sometimes you get addicted to drugs and stuff, trying to surmount that pain. And so what I found is women, because I'm tall, they would hug me and they'd latch onto my neck. Of course, that's where the pain was.
Okay.
So it made me kind of paranoid during that period. Fortunately, that's in the rear view mirror, but it's something to consider for you huggers that you got to be careful. Some injuries can get set off by that. What seems like a nice gesture.
Very good. Thank you very much. I think we can squeeze in one more thought before the end here. Anybody else?
I had a
Why'd you
comment.
come on?
Yeah.
Come on.
There's sometimes culturally there's different meanings for hugs, and culturally, I guess from my country, it means so very intimate and not friendly. So,
Okay.
and that's the way the people over there are raised and thinking what a hug means when they grow up. So I've lived in America now for over 18 years. So for me, a hug means something else. But I'm guessing someone who just moved from another country to here, to them a hug might mean something else. It's just to know that.
Awesome. Give a round of applause. Again, my goal today is just to get some insight, and how to approach situations. I'm glad you brought up the cultural thing, because that's very important. Someone just moving here, that hug means something totally different.
Yeah.
Or and that's something I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So that is really the goal of my talk today, is just to get some insight, not just me, but all of us. So when we approach this, and I have to say this as a male, I want to approach it from the perspective that I want to be mindful that I am not pushing my comfort or my hugging on someone who's not comfortable with that. That is my goal. And I want to thank all of you for participating in my talk. And happy hugs.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Very interesting topic. And I thank you for that culture shift, because that may be very important. In Asian countries, it's usually not hug a woman because of a goal. Only very close friends, maybe not